Hi, welcome back to another level 2 probability video and our second video on relative risk. Now we've talked about what the word risk is, and we've also explained the difference between that and the word relative risk. Remember, relative risk is a probability of an event for a treatment group divided by the probability of an event for a control group. If the relative risk is 1, there's no difference in risk between the two groups. However, if the relative risk is less than 1, we say there is less risk in the treatment group than the control group. And finally, if the relative risk is greater than 1, there is a greater risk in the treatment group relative to the control group. Remember the two types of groups. The treatment group is something that is given a treatment or intervention, and a control group, there's no treatment or intervention. Now, don't always think of treatment as a positive thing. Remember the smokers in the last video? They were the treatment group, even though smoking is not a good thing. Let's get into our example for this video. And here is an example about students attending a university course, and we've got information about whether they attend greater than 90% of the time or less than 90% of the time, and whether they pass or fail. Right, well, not all the boxes are filled out, so we're going to have to fill them out, and that's probably something you may have to do in the exam. So this box is 16 because 134 plus 16 make 150. This box is 28 because 24 plus 28 make 52. Now we can go down and add up all the totals, and it would be a good idea to check that the horizontal totals add up to 202 and the vertical totals also add up to 202, which suggests that there are 202 students in this university course. Right, here we go. Part A. What's the absolute risk a person that failed the course had an attendance greater than 90%? So we're talking about people that failed the course. Here they all are here, and we want to know what's the probability that they had an attendance greater than 90, which is 16 people out of 44. You can turn it into a decimal if it's easier for you. All right, part B. What's the absolute risk a person that failed the course had an attendance less than 90? Well, we're talking about the same group of people, and there were 28 people who failed the course with an attendance less than 90 out of 44. All right, here's the relative risk question. So what is the relative risk a person that failed the course having an attendance greater than 90 compared to a person that failed the course having an attendance less than 90%? Well, it's a bit of a tongue twister. Okay, so we need to work out relative risk by working out the probability of an event happening for a treatment group divided by the probability of an event happening for a control group. The treatment group is going to be the students that had an attendance greater than 90%. The control group are those that had an attendance less than 90%. Now we're going to work out the relative risk by dividing the two probabilities, and we're going to get an answer of 0.5714. Now, coming back to this information, remember if the relative risk is less than 1, there is less risk in the treatment group. Now, the treatment group are those who had an attendance greater than 90. So there's less risk of failing for those who had an attendance greater than 90. So here's our final statement. Based on the statistics from our given population of 202 students, the relative risk of failing a course with the attendance greater than 90 is 0.57 times less likely than those with attendance less than 90%. In other words, you're 0.57 times less likely to fail if your attendance is greater than 90. Now keep in mind, if you chose to do it the other way, you would have flipped it all around and got a higher value than 1, and that means there's a greater chance of failing the course if your attendance is less than 90%. Thanks for watching.